What's up, guys? I'm Josh Mosiman. Welcome to This Week in MXA, episode number 169, presented by O'Neill Racing. Thank you guys for tuning in to this video. You will not believe where we are today. In this video, we're going to talk about Supercross last weekend, Supercross coming up this weekend, and we're going to share this special part that has never before been available to the public. It's only been something available to the factory level riders at the very top of our sport, but now it's available to guys like you and me. Let's talk about it right now. All right, guys, we're here with Kris Palm. Again, you guys probably already know who he is by now by watching our videos. FCP, they're kind of the guy that really brought in engine mounts to the motocross world. They kind of made it a popular thing to adjust your engine mounts to tailor the feel of your bike. You know, engine mounts are the ligaments, I like to call them, between your engine and your frame, and they really affect the handling of the bike. He's specialized in engine mounts for how many years now?
It's like 6, yeah.
6 or 7 years. Yeah. He's a fellow countryman from Sweden. I'm half Swedish, so we have that little bond right there. But now he's jumping into a little bit of a new market. Not really a new market, but a new product. Something that's never before been available to the public. We've talked about it for a couple months now. And he kind of kept it as like a secret, like he was going to kill me if he actually told me what it was. But finally, he's available to release it to the public. We're able to talk about it on video, and now you'll be able to buy it here very soon. And the cool thing is it's new races. I like to say we're off to the races today. We're testing FCP Races. Now, he's going to explain more about what that is, but I got to explain to you guys, this has never been before been available to the public. I've tested it only on factory bikes. At Motocross Action, I've got to ride a few cool factory bikes, but the factory teams, they mess with races all day long. All of the riders are on different races, adjusting the rake and trail of their bikes. Now it's available to the public. Kris, what made you want to jump into this new product and kind of expand the FCP range?
Well, I guess like you're saying, it's, you know, we've always been making like some cool chassis parts that are factory level. And like you're saying, race teams have been doing this for a long time. And honestly, the idea kind of came a little bit from mountain bikes, because in mountain biking world, you called it slack, adjusting like the fork angle. So it's another chassis part. You're able to change the geometry of the frame or the motorcycle. And yeah, we're super excited about this.
That's cool. So the big question is, people are going to pay a good amount of money for this product, and it's pretty small looking, but what does it actually do?
So you're changing the geometry, you're changing the head tube angle. So there's a stock triple clamp, and you're changing the location of the bearings to change the angle of the steering stem. So you can rake your whole front end out, which is really good for stability in outdoors, or you can rake your front end in, which we've been using for Supercross and for tighter tracks. And basically the way we're accomplishing that is we have our own bearing that we made that you will have to replace on the triple clamp. And then we have the Race Cup, which you can, I guess here, it's thicker here and it's thinner here, which makes it move forward or back depending on how you put it in. And then the bearing goes inside of that Race Cup, and that's how we're able to accomplish it.
Cool.
So yeah, the new product is right underneath here. It's really hard to tell, but the bearing is a different bearing, and we have a different race, and we're just moving the race a little bit. It's a third of a degree, but it's a huge change in feel. And we're able to do that with this Race Cup to just move the bearing location either forward or back in order to change the angle. So yeah, the steering, the Race Cup is right here with this little slit. And then we have our black steering race, and then on top of it, we're gonna have the bearing in there, and then an O-ring to seal it up, and then a tie washer to make sure that we don't have any water in there.
Just choose one. have to bring on our resident test rider, Dennis Stapleton, as a color commentator right now to help explain this process. So Dennis has been a test rider a lot longer than I have. And a lot of people will watch this video and not understand the difference between races and changing the trail and the angle of the forks versus triple clamps and changing the offset of the forks. Now you guys know, we try Ride Engineering offset triple clamps, we try Luxon offset triple clamps. Luxon makes adjustable offset ones. That's what I've been using on the YZ450F lately. That's what I race with at Nationals. What is the difference between the little part that Kris is selling with FCP versus the offset triple clamps? What's the difference?
Well, first off, a lot of race teams, that's where they start, right?
Yeah.
Because they have a feel that they're looking for. They want the same clamp for suspension, all that. So they have an offset race, which has an offset bearing, and that tightens the trail from the headset angle. So you have a headset angle, you have trail angle, and you have fork angle. And what you're trying to do is tighten up the volume or the space where the contact patch is on the front wheel. And so whether you want to add or minus trail, on this one we're trying to add trail.
Yeah.
Because this bike has one R450 shootout, but one of the complaints was the wiggle. It has a little bit of a loose feel. We always run in the forks flush in the stock form. So what we're trying to do is get the bike to calm down, but calming it down by changing the headset races makes it feel a little bit heavier because we're adding trail. But a lot of people get confused when they're doing all this because it doesn't make sense to them by the numbers or the angle position.
Even test riders like Dennis has been getting confused about this for what, 20 years?
Yeah, I mean, Bones and Jody have been hammering me for years, and I'm down there drawing a mark in the dirt where the head angle, the tire touches the ground, the axle, you know, and I'm like trying to figure it out, and I'm like, okay, so today we're drawing lines in the dirt.
Trying to figure out exactly
trying to figure out what exactly is going on, because we have guests here today and they're like, oh, you're just testing this.
No.
But no, we're tightening the angle of the trail from the headset tube angle to make the trail position further out, which overall makes it have a different feel than just triple clamp testing.
So offset is just taking the triple clamps and moving them out. So by doing that, you're actually making the angle of the forks a little bit steeper. So you're lengthening the wheelbase, but you're also making the forks a little bit steeper of an angle by moving the forks out a little bit. So that can make it a little less stable. So it does help stability by lengthening the wheelbase and giving you a better feel on the track, but it also can hurt some of that front end stability and get a little wiggle on the front. So today we went back to stock triple clamps, 22 mil offset, but we're changing the angle of it. So offset is changing the position of the forks. The trail and the races that we're using today changes the angle of it, rakes it out a little bit more. You guys can think about a street bike, like a super bike that you're way over the front of the bike, or a chopper where you're way leaned back. You can ride down the freeway with one hand, it's super stable. So those are kind of the differences there. And today, so far, I've had a lot of fun on it. We started the day riding the bike stock with the forks flush and the triple clamps. That's lowering the rear end a little bit more and getting more stability, getting more weight off the front. Then when we put the races on, it raked out the trail a little bit more, gave it a little bit more of a heavy feel on the front end, and increased stability coming into corners and even coming out of corners. But it was almost a little bit too heavy and a little bit too much. Jody's written lots of articles about the difference between rake, trail, offset, but that's kind of the main point. Offset is position, trail is angle.
It's a huge difference when you ride it. It's really noticeable. What's cool about this part we're testing today, whatever clamps you have, this part will work with. So whether you have your Luxon, your Ride Engineering, or whatever clamps you have on your bike, you could add this to it and get the feeling that you're looking for. And you know, sag height, fork height, all that comes a roll when you're messing with your bike to get the sweet spot. Like Josh said, forks all the way flush today with this part that we're trying. Made the bike front end feel a little heavy, like a low tire feel. Now it's playful. You can adapt the bumps. Lean angle position feels good. It didn't feel too heavy, or the pitch position wasn't too fast. So we're able to go back almost to standard position. We're splitting the difference.
That heavy feel that Dennis and I just talked about, we actually eliminated it by opening up the steering stem, by actually loosening the steering stem to speed it up a little bit. The poor man's steering dampener is clanking down on that thing. And that's something that I've had to do a lot on the Yamaha to kind of slow down the steering and give it a little more stability and get rid of some of that head shake. So Kris reminded me today, hey, we can loosen that a little bit now that we've angled the forks out a little bit. That got rid of that heavy feel that I had. We also went one click open on the rebound just to speed up the forks a little bit. So that actually fixed the heavy feel, and now I have no complaints about the new races. I'm really stoked on it today. Retail price $599. Seems like a lot for a small part, but the small part does a big change on the track. Honestly, I was really impressed with it today. So $599, it's not available today. I did say today. It's not available today. It's gonna be available in about a month, month and a half. Pre-order on FCPRacing.com will come up in the next couple weeks. You guys want to get it done, and it's also going to be available for all the major brands, 250 and 450. Exciting stuff. Thank you guys for watching. See you in the next one.
What a start by Cooper Webb, but he gets in a little too hot, and that allows the 18 of Jet Lawrence to sneak up the inside. But I thought the 2 was going to go for the pass early on.
In the 450 class, Jet Lawrence made it 2 wins in a row. He won Daytona, and then he won at Birmingham this past weekend. Tough and technical track, and it's very dangerous for Jet Lawrence to get 2 wins in a row. He's the first 450 rider to do so. Tom Vial also did it in the 250 class, first guy in the 250 East Coast Series to win 2 in a row. But Jet Lawrence completely did it just like he did with Outdoors last year. He managed it, made it look easy, and didn't make any big mistakes while leading the 450 main event. The craziest part of the main event, though, was Cooper Webb running into the Monster Girl on the very first lap of the race. That was just insane. Dirt Shark posted an interview with the Monster Girl that got hit. She said she didn't actually physically get hit by the bike, but Cooper's handlebar hit the 32nd board, and that bumped into her, and she bumped down. So she's okay. She's not injured. And Cooper Webb, though, he did lose a little bit of time by running into her in that incident. A lot of people were wondering if there would be a red flag, if they would do a restart of the race because of that outside interference playing into how that corner went and how the race was going. But Cooper Webb, we know that he would not have wanted it to be red flagged and restarted because he was already in second place. He was already close to the leader, and he would not wanted to chance it by going back to the line with 22 other guys and chance getting a worse start and starting off the race differently. So Cooper Webb, I think he was happy that it wasn't red flagged, and he stayed in second position. That was the best chance he had at getting the win. Ultimately, he kept Jet in position, and he kept Jet in sight, but wasn't close enough to make the pass and make the win.
And then it got crazy right off the rip tonight.
I mean, wow. You watch the 43 of Hammaker, he hit like a ton of bricks.
There, the guy is ripping, breaking on the track for us today. So the fact that a Monster Girl almost turned into a track feature this past weekend was very, very dramatic, but that wasn't the only bit of drama. Of course, Hayden Degan was the center of attention once again, and we have to acknowledge the fact that he was penalized, fined, and docked 2 positions in the main event, and it started all off in the heat race. He got taken out by Seth Hammaker in the first turn. Seth dodged Daxton Bennett, got caught up in the back end of Hayden Degan's rear end. Both of them went down. It was definitely Seth Hammaker's fault. It wasn't really Hayden's fault, but what was Hayden's fault was how he handled the situation by throwing down Seth Hammaker's bike and then going over to his pit, wanting to argue about it after the race. Ended up being a $1,000 fine and a code of conduct violation against Hayden Degan in that heat race. Fast forward to the main event, Hayden was struggling, coming through the pack. He made a pass on Cody Schock in the last turn for 7th place. He took out Cody Schock. Now, and from my point of view, Cody left the door pretty wide open, and then at the last second tried to close it. He's leaning in hard, very committed to trying to stay in 7th place, but because he was leaned in so hard, he didn't have enough balance to save it when Hayden came up the inside, knocked him straight off the track. We did find out Cody Schock was nursing a collarbone injury, slight crack in his collarbone from Daytona. Well, that crash over the backside of the berm caused it to snap completely in half. Now he needs surgery, and he's definitely gonna miss Indianapolis this weekend. But there's more to the story. Hayden Degan was also fined 2 positions earlier in the race for going around the jump and getting on the gas pretty hard on the infield. 2 other riders went around the jump and gained position as well, but they weren't fined, so it's a little bit unusual and questionable on why they weren't fined and Degan was fined. Either way, Cody Schock went from 7th to 9th, but then the fact that Hayden got docked 2 points and 2 positions, that moved Cody up to 7th. Also, MXA Fantasy League is wide open and rolling. This past weekend, we gave away a full set of Maxxis tires to a girl. She won the MXA Fantasy League from the Birmingham Supercross. She scored 261 points, I believe it was, or 269. Her name is Brizzy Ablesy, and she got the win this past weekend in Birmingham, Alabama. So congrats to her. Also, this weekend, we're giving away a full set of Naxstar wheels. So last weekend, Maxxis tires. This weekend, it's Naxstar wheels. If she wins the wheels, then she'll have a complete wheel set. That'd be pretty nice, fresh tires and wheels. But Nackstar wheels, full set, hubs, spokes, rims, all laced together and ready to go. We've been testing those Nackstar wheels. They hold up strong for us here at Glen Helen, and we have a lot of fun on those wheels. So get signed up. It's free to download the app and free to play. Our own MXA test rider and editor, Justin Lee, created the app front to back, and we're super proud of it. So it's fun and easy way to get involved. Let me know who you guys are picking this weekend on your team in the comments below. And lastly, if you live locally here in Southern California and you want to come show support for our own Randall Fout, we're doing a memorial lap this Sunday at the SRA Grand Prix. It's going to be at 9 a.m. after race 1, before race 2. Josh Fout will be here, I'll be here, Trevor will be here. We'll have a bunch of guys here wearing orange helmets. So we'll do the parade lap for SRA for Randall Fout, for our fallen test rider. We miss him big time. There's also a memorial this Saturday in Oceanside at 2 o'clock. You can message me or MXA to get more details about that, but everybody's welcome to come to Oceanside 2 p.m. this Saturday. And you're all welcome to join us for the memorial lap and the parade lap on Sunday at the SRA Grand Prix. Thank you guys for watching this video. We'll see you in the next one.